Good morning from Toronto's perfect music mix. We are 98.1 CHFI with Erin Davis and Mike Cooper. It's 7:10.
Hey, we promised we'd let him extra a song or something. You know, for old time's sake, although he was a talk show host. But now he's the mayor. John Tory is in the house.
Good morning.
Morning.
Don't let me extra a song because I undoubtedly screw it up. Talk over the end of the music or something, and then the listeners would start to email their complaints.
Well, no, they expect it from us. Don't worry about it.
It's
You
all
know,
right.
you know us.
You haven't been doing this very long. You are sort of rookies. I know
No,
that.
we are kind of.
I'm a rookie mayor too.
We knew that, you don't have to be mayor, but we are sure glad that you are. It's really important to us. It's thank you very, very much, and congratulations and continued success. I love what you're doing with the traffic stuff already. It's made a difference. It
is
really
making a
has
difference.
made a difference.
And I think it's making a difference for other drivers who might have been inclined to park. It's not just the ones that are being towed away. It's the people who might have thought about parking to get a coffee or get their laundry or pick up an envelope, and they're not doing it. And I think that's the idea, to make things move better in the city. So many people sitting around away from their kids, late to pick up their kids at daycare. Or people trying to do business, and they were stuck in traffic, and they were frustrated. I was going to use a stronger word. Family radio station.
Well, yeah, it is. So you miss radio, John?
I do.
Do you really?
You know what? You know this. The greatest part of this job is that you see through your email and phone calls you get and so on, or even just people you meet, that they're your sort of your friends. They're people who listen to you every day. And I was used to that interaction with people every day by email and by phone, and I miss it. But, you can't do everything. Do you get paid to do this? 'Cause I thought it was so much fun. I'm sure you do this for free, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
just helping your negotiating position.
Yeah, thanks.
It's actually
I thought you
great
were a lawyer.
therapy.
See, so you see, you're
It
just saying
is.
it's a value to you personally, and therefore there's no need to pay you.
Yeah, it really,
Perfect.
It really is.
But did radio prepare you? I mean, you're never going to be loved by everybody. I mean, that is the very, very nature of
That's
politics.
the understatement of the century.
Well,
Isn't
it's
it?
true.
When you're in politics, I
Well,
mean.
of course. And that's the reason why we could certainly never, ever run for something like this, because you just slung that just for simply being there. But did it prepare you? Did radio prepare you for the slings and arrows?
Well, not for that so much. I mean, you have to sort of accept that's part of the deal. But what radio does prepare you for, if you're doing especially a talk show, is the sort of the wide variety of opinions that are out there, and you get a sense of how people feel about the traffic.
Yeah.
How frustrated they are, or about their taxes, or about people who don't have jobs, or how they feel about their kids. So it does prepare you to sort of get a good insight into the sort of mindset of how people think, and that's very useful. And so in that sense, it's a good training ground. It's interesting because Christy Clark, the Premier of British Columbia, the last thing she did before she became Premier was to do a talk show.
That's right.
It's just an interesting thing to do to sort of give you an insight into how people think.
See, we know what your policies are, but we don't really know the man, the mayor, John.
No, we try to
Tory.
keep it that way.
Yeah, but
Thank you, Mike.
I think we really need to know a little bit more about you. So
Okay, you go
just
ahead.
a quick little
Anything
question.
you like.
Quick little
Yeah.
question. Okay.
Take your best shot.
Would you rather have a rewind button in your life or have a pause button in your life? A rewind or
Do you
a
know
pause?
the only reason I'd like to have the rewind button is because I do think I'm 60 years old now, and I would love to have the chance to be sort of any number less than that again. Just because
Yeah, really.
it's not because I feel old, but you do get a certain sense when you get a 6 in front of your age that you're sort of getting closer to. Somebody told me I was well into the back nine, as it were, in a golf.
ouch.
They did on the radio. They
It's
said
true.
that. I said I was
On
in
the
middle
radio.
age, and when I was still in my 50s, and they said some wag called in and said, "You're not in middle age. You're well into the back nine, my friend."
But if you could go back, though, John, and if we're going to play, would you rather here? If you could go back, would you rather have won or had success in any of the other things, or was this the job that you were waiting for here, Toronto Mayor?
I've got it, and I
Fate.
wanted to have it because I hoped I could make a difference. But I have had so much fun doing all the things I've done on radio. I was a lawyer. I've been an executive here at this company. I've just had so much fun, doing everything I've done. Even politics for its bad days is very interesting. So, no, I would just rewind so I could sort of have 5 more experiences like that, whatever they might be. And I'd hope they'd be something different, like something not broadcasting and not politics and not law.
Okay, what?
I don't know.
What's your
I don't know.
extreme sport? What would you
Well,
do?
I tell you, I think I would love to run a sort of sports company. I mean, like some kind of a sports company, whether it's one of the enterprises here. I'd love to do that.
I'm related to the people at Cooper.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, yeah.
No, that's a lie. I made
okay.
that up. But
I
I always wanted to be.
I thought it probably was. I was about to say, what are you doing here?
Right.
Well, I understand why Erin and I are here, but
Yeah.
I was going to say, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
then?
you're right about
Time to let him go. This guy gets to the office very early. John Tory, one of the earliest images of
Lunchtime.
you. Oh, you're right. one of the earliest images of you, though, was getting in there and the lights weren't on
That's a
because
true
no
story.
one.
They weren't even
Yeah,
ready
I had
for
to
you.
phone security, and I said, it's dark in here. And they said, that's because the lights don't come on. I said, yes, I'm aware of that. And then they changed the timer, so they come on now. I get to the office about 6:35, so they now come on at 6:30, which is nice.
Oh, a lot of people probably love you for that.
Well, he's got
Yeah,
work to do.
thanks.
Stuff to be done.
I hear you, brother.
It does. A lot to be done. So what's next?
Next, in terms of issues,
Yeah.
well, we're going to address some housing issues next week. It's a big problem. I was out on patrol with the city van last night, seeing the homeless people on the street, and just sort of seeing what's going on and why they're there. And a lot of them, they try their best to persuade them to get off the street. And it's very at this time of year, of course, you can't imagine sleeping the whole night on the street. But there are many problems there that have to be addressed. So we're going to sort of tackle some of that next week, including affordable housing. And you just go on. There's no end of issues to be dealt with.
I love the common sense that seems to be creeping its way into decisions like, okay, yeah, open the shelters, let them in.
If you
Honestly,
abide by the standard that just says you try to do the right thing as best you can, it's the right. What's the right thing? What seems to be right to do here? You can't very often go wrong with that.
right.
So
Construction on the roads at night, stop with all the condo, disruption in terms of traffic. It feels like we're on the road to at least mending so many of the fences that have been bulldozed down over the past several
this
years.
is a great city. I mean, we are so lucky to live here. I mean, weather notwithstanding, and so just let's keep moving it forward and getting it a little better each day. And that's I think all people expect. They don't expect much more. They know politicians aren't miracle workers. Mm-hmm. So
I'm okay with baby steps, and I'm all right with getting things done right the first time rather than having to go back year after year and correct a mistake. So I think you're doing a great job, Mayor. I really do.
So
we'll
what's
come
the
back in
latest-
6 months and see if he still says that.
Oh, well,
right, that's
absolutely,
right.
and I'd love that. Maybe Tory Tuesday.
We're all for it. What do you
think?
say?
That's perfect.
Sure. We're crossing out Taco Tuesday. It's Tory Tuesday.
All right, that's it.
Yeah.
Will I still be an honorary wise guy too?
Well,
That only lasts a
I didn't think
day.
you did very well
but
there.
I'm going to milk that for the rest of today. I can tell you.
hey, what is the last movie you saw? The most recent
St.
one?
Vincent. I mean, I'm embarrassed to tell you I've only seen 2 movies in the last year because you just don't get a lot of time. I was campaigning, of course, and I'd seen a movie called The Riot Club at the film festival, and then I saw St. Vincent. Barb and I tried to go and see The Imitation Game and couldn't, so we saw St. Vincent, which was good. Bill Murray, and it was actually him in a serious role, although somewhat comedic. But I just realized how much I love to see a movie in a theater.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
great.
it's just there's something about it being sort of in the dark there with other people and the big screen and the whole thing. So I'll have to do it again before a year.
Good. I hope so. Unbroken is very good.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
there you go.
a real
So I'll
true
put that on my
hero.
list for the next one.
Sure, it's very inspiring. And so are you. Thanks for coming
Thank you
in
for
and being
having
with
me. I
us.
appreciate it very much. Have a great weekend.
Yeah,
Thank you,
And
Mayor.
it's not too late. It's the last day. You could probably say Happy New Year today. So
Yeah, I know.
Happy New Year.
And to you too.
And Chinese
You
New
too.
Year's coming up. So
Cool.
There you go.
Gun hai fat koi. Cha choi.
Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly.
It's 7:30. Erin and Mike here on 98.1 CHFI.